Hi, everybody, and welcome to our new podcast, What is Critical Theory? My name is Dr. Tristan Cabello, and I'm the Associate Director for the Master of Liberal Arts at the Johns Hopkins University, and I also teach a core course entitled Critical Theory every year. The course is very popular among our students in the MLA program, but every year, current and prospective students are asking me the same questions. What is critical theory, and how can this help me? Now, there's no easy answer to that. I know how critical theory has helped me in my research and my career, but everybody has a different opinion. So this year, with my students, we've decided to record a podcast on the course so you can get a wide variety of perspectives and opinions before you decide to take the course or join the program. Today, I'm joined by Dina Coppes, a second year MLA student who is in her final semester. Hi, Dina, it's good to see you.
It's good to see you. Thank you for having me.
So, as you know, Dina, there are many, many definitions of critical theory. And as a first question, I'd like to know what is your own personal definition of critical theory?
So, before taking critical theory, I do not think that I could have articulated a definition for the course. Um, but I did know that it was sort of a necessary foundational course for all those social, political contexts that I would explore in my research. And so that's why I took it. And then after the course, I would say that it it became a personal transformative experience for me. Mainly because what we ended up doing was, sort of explore these theories with these inquiry questions and then kind of turn those questions on ourselves and kind of think introspectively, like, how do these theories and these questions interact with who we are, how we identify ourselves, how we choose to act in life. So I would say that the importance of critical theory is that sort of what we see as transformative thought on the page um, is so crucial in that how we interact with it personally in scholarship matters the most.
Yeah, yeah, very good answer here. Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Is there, how has, my second question to you is, how has critical theory changed your perspective also in the liberal arts, in your own research, or even the world around you?
Yeah. There are times I feel that we find ourselves accepting things just as they are. The diversity of theory shared in this course obliges you to challenge the status quo. So suddenly, what was unseen can now be seen. What could not be easily articulated now has a word for it. And so, what I mean is that we encounter or witness injustices in our lives, in others' lives, and at times we cannot express why that injustice occurs. Critical theory names those injustices for what they are and provides the thought needed to take action.
Um, One theory in the course we are exploring, I think, a total of 14 theories. Is there one theory in the course that really force you to interrogate dominant narratives and systemic powers?
Yeah, absolutely. It's the theory called New Historicism, and specifically the text, History of Sexuality by Foucault. It forced me to look at the relationship between mainstream discourse and power. So old historicists treated discourse as objective, that the ideas, the thoughts, the expressions of authors were theirs alone. But new historicists recognize sort of this inherent reciprocity between historical, social, and cultural contexts and the discourse itself. And so I think what moved me the most was the way Foucault, um, he kind of sort of proved that it was faulty to believe that sexual repression was inherent in the Victorian era. He reveals that discourse and sex actually increased then as a measure to dominate sexuality within the confines of
Mhm.
language. Thus, it is not this like straightforward notion that power structures such as the bourgeoisie and capitalists aim to repress sexuality, but that these entities are driven to produce the dictates of sexuality. So these networks of power thus insidiously control the cultural narrative, distributing knowledge as truth and truth as reality. So this is what I found to be incredibly powerful, this idea that discourse wields its power upon our psyches, that we construct a notion of ourselves based on this discourse, and the identity we shape seems to stabilize us, but there are cracks that when confronted may hurl us into a necessary crisis.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
also very important to understand and to underline the fact that um, this notion of discourse, also applies to um, a lot of different, system of powers, racism,
Yes.
patriarcha, and so on and so forth. So
Yeah.
very important text here. Um, Another question that I have for you is at the end of the course, I ask the students to explore a theory on their own. Because of course, in a 15-week course, there's so much we can do. So at the end of the course, I ask you to pick a theory that you find interesting, that you want to explore more. What did you choose and why?
So, an extension of Foucault's theory, I chose Edward Said's theory of Orientalism. And it was sort of a personal journey for me, actually, when I
Yeah.
read his book. He helped me identify what I had been feeling personally as an Egyptian American Muslim living in America. So Orientalism is this, Western practice of totalizing or objectifying the Middle East into the Orient, right? The quote Orient through the cultivation and distribution of diversified scholarship. What what I experienced growing up in the West is this idea that Arabs are, public enemy number one, especially as represented in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And, there's this history of essentializing Arab people in American films for the mere purpose of situating an us versus them dynamic, one in which Americans are usually the victors. This is seen, for example, in Raiders of the Lost Ark, in that infamous scene where Indiana Jones is confronted by an Arab wielding a scimitar. And, Hollywood imposes every reductive device upon the representation of this Arab. He is brown, he is threatening, and he is simple minded. The scene is seductive as we expect a dramatic fight to the death, East versus West, the villain versus the hero. Uh, However, Indiana Jones promptly disrupts this anticipation with a gunshot, reifying the notion that the West possesses better technology, better weaponry, and can outsmart every move of an inferior object. And so I bring this up as an example because as a child, I internalized this implication. I could not articulate why it bothered me so much or how it shaped my identity, but its influence was lasting. And after reading Orientalism, the child in me remembered the confusion I felt, my inability to articulate why I felt so different living in the West. Said empowered me by prompting this realization and providing the language I needed from this point on to disarm those threats to my identity as an Egyptian American Muslim.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you so much for
Yeah,
sharing that.
yeah.
To summarize here, why do you think it is important to study critical theory in the MLA program and at large, really?
Yeah, no, I think that sometimes we approach it in an academic or pragmatic sense. We look at it as I need this course in order to fulfill, these next
Yeah.
steps. But honestly, I think that this course helps you realize things about yourself, about who you are, and how to overcome those injustices you have experienced before by understanding the theory underlying those acts of injustice. Yeah.
Dina, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today. I'm sure that this conversation was very helpful and inspiring for our students. And to everybody who is watching and listening, stay tuned for the next episode. It's coming in 2 weeks from now. Thank you, Dina.
Thanks so much.